Hello, 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 Sucrose here. Back to play some Oxygen Not Included. So where were we? I think things were going quite well. So we had built this new little room for getting rid of polluted water. It seems to be working all right. We were talking about how maybe it would be nice if we put our CO2 in there. So right now what we're doing is we're feeding our CO2 to the slicksters, and they are enjoying themselves. And this is a fine thing to do, but eventually this will fill up with crude. And so that's not a permanent solution. Then we have to run the plastic creation to get rid of some of the crude. That takes a lot of electricity. So that was one thing we were considering doing, is maybe mopping up this little layer of polluted water and then filling this with carbon dioxide. The risk there is that we're coupling two systems together. So if we produce, let's say, too much polluted water and not enough carbon dioxide, then the plants will die. They'll not die, but they won't be absorbing polluted water. That's the... Hey, Rage Knot, how's it going? I'm doing all right. Doing pretty fine. Yeah, so we run the risk of coupling those two systems together and then them not being in balance. So I think we should delay that, even if we try it later. Oh, you made a room filled with hydrogen. What are you doing with it? Did you put some Wheeze-worts in it? Or did you just try to get rid of the hydrogen? Oh, nice. Very nice. Negative 70 degrees. What are you going to do with it? Just chill out? Sorry. Grow some sleetweed or something? But now you've got it. Now you can, you know, route pipes through it to cool down your base. I mean, cool down liquids or gases. Or some people like to dribble dribble liquids through a cold environment. That seems to cool the liquids down quickly. Like you can cool stuff really fast by putting a little spigot at the top and dripping it. So our major concern here is this heat. Now, we've stabilized our plants quite well. I'm really happy with this. And we've got enough food. But yeah, these plants are being controlled by this thermosensor, so when this gets too cold, this will kick in and then it will stop cooling down. And then when it gets too hot, well, everything else in the world heats it up. So The idea that we were talking about was decoupling this. So let's say we'd, you know, end it here or end it here and just come back and let this system be cooled by a separate cooler. In particular, we were thinking about trying this little fella up here. So the way this would go is the same pretty much as this system. We'd put thermoregulators next to, like, in the vicinity, and that's pretty much it. We'd cycle the hydrogen through that room with the, through the regulators. They would suck the heat out, and then the nullary whatever would hopefully cool it down. I just saw you said 10 Wheeze words, yeah. And then I realized, oh my god, we've got more than 10. We were really lucky in this world to find so many Wheeze words because they saved our butt. Or our butts. We also want to make sure that we get enough water here. So this is our cool water coming in at 70 degrees. I think it's anywhere below 80. And that goes to our farms. But now that we have so much food, we're using quite a bit of it. And to cool down that much water has been, well, it's been difficult. Is finding and using resorts a necessary part of the game? I would say either resorts or these things. Anti-entropy thermonullifier. Without those two things, I would say it would be very difficult. I'm sure you could do it, but it wouldn't be sustainable because you just keep making up the asteroid. You'd make the asteroid hotter and hotter and hotter, and you couldn't. It would be very difficult to remove heat. There's a couple of ways I showed you to remove heat, but you still have stuff that's pretty hot. So more than likely what you'd wind up with is like one really hot place that you just keep making hotter, and you just keep moving the heat there. But it would be an interesting challenge. I think it's possible. But it would be tough. What's up with the canvas next to the compost? Just to make it pretty, because you know, shit isn't so pretty. That's pretty much it. It's still pretty ugly there. Let's put in another. Give the artist something to do, you know. Oh, not that one, because we need to leave room for the Wheeze word. So let's scope out. I think we ought to try this nullifier. It works so well for the. Well, let me show you that. It works so well for the plastic stuff. When we turn this on, it works pretty much. You have to write an essay about space culture. Are you gonna write about? Do I know anything about space? I mean, probably as much as you know. It's up there. It's super cool, and it's super cold. Space culture. I feel like there's not really any culture in space because there's not a whole lot of people in space. Maybe there's culture on the International Space Station. Maybe there's culture among scientists. All right. Let's stop messing around. Let's anti-entropy thermal nullifiers. Yeah. They seem to work really well over here. Just this one. Oh wow, that's cool. Just this one was enough to permanently cool down our polymer press, which I hadn't been able to do with Weiswarts before. So it must extract a lot of heat. I mean, it's negative 400 watts. And a Weiswart doesn't say. But yeah, it seems pretty powerful. So how should we do this? It's kind of a shame that this is right next to the ladder. I think we have to move the ladder. I can just build it out here to the right. I think basically what we want is we can try doing what we did down below, which is just a bunch of, you know, twos, but maybe we can just do it in ones. So we serially chain one heat sucker after another. Let's see how it goes. Should we do it up to down? I think up to down we can kind of place. We can place stuff closer to it. And then we'll fill the space with hydrogen. Alright, so it's going to look something like... we'll do it right next to it if we can. And so if we put... yeah, okay. So I was going to put 3 slots, but since we're not using Weiswarts, we just do it like this. This is going to be super cold. Like 100 degrees. So the downside about using a lot of them is that it makes the beginning very cold. That's why this is doing what it's doing. Like this is very cold, and then by the time it gets here, it's used all of its coldness. So let's do this. Let's stick with 3. How come I can't cancel that? I'm going to put a layer of abyssalite down. And we'll leave space, so we'll leave just a couple of slots of space here, just in case. This is no big deal if we need it or if we don't. Something like that. So this will give us room to put in another one, and maybe some junk. Like there's going to be a temperature gauge for each of these. That's fine. So we want to dig all that. And we're going to have to move the ladder because we can't move these... Wait, you can deconstruct this? So you can deconstruct the thermonullifier? You can't build them? So that's kind of crazy. I would recommend not doing that. But we can deconstruct the ladder here. So, you know, we'll... you know, since you can't build them, it's probably best not to deconstruct them. But yeah, we really just need to come over like 1 or 2 blocks here. So that'll get us up here. And then we can build a wall here. Actually, you know what? Let's leave the ladder, and it'll be internal to the box. So we'll have a ladder in the box to start out with. And then we'll build abyssalite here. And now that's obsidian, so we're going to deconstruct that. So this will give us something to play with for starters. Let's put in the rest of the... So it's going to be like that, like that. They kind of need the ability to ladder up here. Something like that. Keep an eye on them, make sure they don't kill themselves. I think while they're doing that, I'll ask that some more iron be made, because we're going to have to run one of those 2000 watt cables up. So I want to get rid of this chlorine eventually, but you can't mop it up. It's just going to turn back into gas, and then it's going to turn back into a liquid. No, they're not alright, but... Shit. Okay. So we'll leave this hole in the bottom for now. Which is actually pretty good because hydrogen's going to try to rise, and so it's not going to fall out of a hole if you put a door in it. She's stuck? No, she's fine. Alright, so far looks good. So let's start thinking about the infrastructure. So we want conductive wire. And essentially, we're just going to run it down this ladder. I hate running wires next to one another like that, but yeah, maybe we'll run it over here, so that way they don't they're not completely next to one another. And we'll make sure to get some more iron. Okay. So that's that part. No deaths yet. Alright, let's think about pipes. So this room is going to be cooled by this thing, so the coldest stuff is going to be here. Not sure if that really matters. But it's probably easiest to have pipes coming from the top down because of just the way the shape of this thing is. So let's say, let's just say its input's coming from here. And we're just going to chain these, so like that. And it'll come down, and you know, maybe we'll extend this. So I'm just going to kind of run it down a little ways, maybe to here. And we'll come across. But actually, instead of running it in the middle, I'm going to be a little bit smarter, run it one next to the middle. Because we know that we're going to have to put hydrogen in here. We have to fill this room with hydrogen. And we have to put hydrogen in this machine to make it work. Kind of as a nervous habit, I'm just mining out some of this ice and snow because I'm tired of it melting all over the place. Alright, so they've finally knocked a hole through there. I think we can mine out a couple things here. Probably we want to... We'll leave all this and let them do it from the inside. Let's just This is probably whatever. Whatever. Cool. So far, so good. Hopefully they can get to that. I think so. Oh, yeah. So that takes care of power and the first part of ventilation. So how that works internally. So let's see. So this is not hydrogen. This is like junk gas. So I think what we want to do, this is going to be a lot of pipes. But let's run some sedimentary rock up here. It's going to be a lot of pipes. But once they're built, you know? So... Alright, this is going to be our hydrogen input. And it's going to go here and here. Maybe we should try putting it more in the middle of the room. I don't think it really matters. Okay. Now we've had some good success with using a gas shutoff. Probably don't need to do this because it'll reach as much hydrogen as you can fit, because it won't go over pressure. But there's goofy stuff. Let's just, the simulation's not always the best. Sometimes you can get overpressure situations even when you don't mean to overpressure. So I think let's keep it a little simpler. We'll try it differently. And we'll just put a normal valve just in case. But we'll let it fill up, you know, on its own. We won't even really think about it until it messes up, and then we can put the valve, use the valve. And this thing we can control by just disabling it. So the only other thing we might want is like a valve down here, just to maybe turn the whole contraption off if we don't like it. Let's do that. Okay. It's a lot of pipe that's going to be filled with hydrogen eventually, but like you could optimize for that, and you could take a you could put the automated gas shutoff all the way down here, and then you could run a signal wire, but you'd have to run so much iron. It's just what are you trying to save? Why would you try to save hydrogen? You create hydrogen from water infinitely, so who cares? You actually only have a finite amount of iron, so it's probably not really a good trade-off. All right. So that's that'll fill up this room. and make this thing work. Both of which we saw were critical when we did the plastic stuff. This is really pretty looking. The way this is completely filled up and it shimmers. It's really nice. If you don't think of it as being urine, which kind of ruins it. Alright, so this is gonna be this one is gonna be a problem. So we have to fix this before we so that has to go in there like that before we do this. Or all of this will drain out. In fact, I don't even want to do this one. Maybe we'll cancel a couple of these. Do I have a thermo aquatuner? We actually tried them. I don't think anything's left, but we tried building them over here, and the nullifier couldn't keep up with the heat produced by the aquatuner. We were trying to cool down the water that came out of the geyser, so I wasn't impressed. But I know people say that they're more efficient. I guess I just don't know how to use them. I think people actually use them to move heat from one liquid to another. So like maybe you want cold fresh water, but you want hot polluted water. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then you wind up with hot polluted water, which if you can get hot enough, you can turn into steam. I think that's the kind of thing people do. Alright, just sort of going through and, you know, cleaning up all these bits where our construction has left a path of destruction. Stinky. Huh. Hi, Cool Tool. Welcome back. How are you today? Somehow Joey got slime lung. It's the second time someone got slime lung, like, very quickly. I wonder what they're doing. No, actually, quite a few people are sucking in germs. Well, that could be interesting. So we have a bunch of space now. I think we should put... Gonna keep on going on your dupes. Hope you don't kill them. Yep, that's how I feel. Try not to kill them. Do no harm. Where can I easily put a couple of these? There. That's perfect. Put them right there. Oof, 200. Okay. That's a lot of metal. So let's build... I hate to set it to continuous because I know for sure I'm going to forget about it. So, yeah, I just... Whoa. Oh, that's stress. Woo! Oh my god. I thought this was the germ menu, and I was like, oh my god, they're all gonna die. They're all at 0% immune system. But that's their stress. They're really chill. But they are sucking in a lot of germs, so I think it's fair that we concentrate on that for just a little bit. Maybe... Where is it? Here. Maybe make a little out of copper. Oh, we're almost out of copper. Yeah, we might be getting some sick people. So there's Gene. We have some exosuits down here in order to go into this really hot area, but not for germs. This is actually, so we had a little scare maybe our first or second episode. This is the first time since then when we've really had to deal with them, with germs. But it's okay. They'll be fine. We're gonna... Yeah, it's funny. It's always breathing oxygen, it says, is the reason. So... let's send Gene in here. Let's see how that goes. So after treatment, it's down to 2.6 cycles for recovery. I think Joey was the first to get sick. So he's being treated. So it's 2.6. So I don't really see how that's any faster. To use this. What's the advantage of the pharma chamber? Some airlock with chlorine. Well, that is good to kill germs. But I just don't care very much about germs. They're not really a big deal. So we got sick, but I'm not afraid of getting sick. Like if you look, this is the germ. That's actually the ventilation overlay. My bad. This is the germ overlay, and you see where they go, there really aren't germs. We're digging into some new area. Maybe that uncovered germs, or it was probably digging into these walls here, where we're trying to make we're trying to cut some paths here, and so maybe they hit some pockets of germs and they got sick, but I don't know. They have quite a lot of germs. So I probably should have made sure that it was just 1 or 2 people who did this, but I didn't. I'm not yet worried. At any rate, the damage is already done. They're already sick, so adding some chlorine is not going to help. But it's good as preventative. Okay, so let's cover that up. This pipe can be completed now. So let's take a look around, and my guess is that it was digging this stuff up. Because there's a lot of germs in the slime. That's probably what happened. So it could be worth making another hospital. So let's do that. The room with the water? This one? These storage these things hold ice and snow, which cools down the water, and when they melt, it gives us more water. We do a similar thing here in the polluted water room, where we put stuff like bleach stone so that it doesn't turn into gas, and we put slime so that it doesn't turn into polluted oxygen. And we used to put in polluted ice, but we stopped because this place got so cold. So we have to do a little bit of reworking here. Why don't I use transitives? Because most of the time they're idle. So there's not really any reason to make them go faster. But we have 24 duplicates. If we had 4 duplicates, it might make sense, but we have way more dupes than we need. And that's just the challenge that we took. Labor is cheap. This is like getting people, you know, it's easier to hire a minimum wage worker to fill up ketchup bottles than to have a robot do it. Sometimes. Sometimes it's cheaper to have a robot do it, but so because this is a smaller room, I think we can actually put in more med beds. And needs a mess table. So this isn't connected here. Needs a fridge? Not technically. You don't need a fridge. Medical bed, toilet, mess table. So we're not using this pipe. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. And yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? So that they don't have to go up and get food. No, it's cool. No worries. It makes sense. But for some reason it doesn't ask for it. I think it also makes sense to just go ahead and make like 6 of those and let them eat in. Whoever eats them, eats them. This is going to turn into a little epidemic here. Okay. So to power these bathrooms, I mean not to power them, to fill these bathrooms, we come from this cable and this pipe, and they go out. It's probably fine if we do it like this. But I usually don't like to run pipes like that. So I'm going to do something that kind of looks weird. Alright. You're a deep late game, struggling to get more than 150 atmosphere? Oh, 150 cycles? 150 cycles? Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We just had the surprise epidemic, though, which kind of caught me off guard. And so I'm kind of rushing to deal with this, but I'll be happy to show you around the base in just a second. I think we can... Get some ladders here. Alright, so output, go across, go output. Okay, good. Water coming in. Good, good, good. Okay, these are set up, so now... Oh, I gotta enable that. Okay. Let's get that going. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably more. This is a real shame. I should have been watching this. So I still think everybody will be fine. Probably. Obviously, we want to make sure we have enough beds. And if we don't, we can build some emergency beds. But the people who get sick first will probably, like Joey, he's getting treated again. So in 1.5 cycles, Joey will be back up on his feet. So probably things are okay, but I'm gonna make a bunch of these anyway. There's no downside. And if these fill up, then I'm going to just build some more randomly. Alright, this isn't... They deconstructed the wall over here, and I forgot to reconstruct it. Alright. The pipes are good? Pipes are good. How are you controlling oxygen? Well, with oxygen, we're trying to be as passive as possible. So we've got electrolyzers in the middle of the base. I think these two are active. This one's active. We've got one over here, and then we've got some at the bottom too. And so the air inside the place that they live is pretty fine. We put a bunch of airflow tiles in here to make sure that the hydrogen can get to the top, and then we suck it up, and the hydrogen goes to all sorts of places. Can I see the reports menu? I don't know, what do you want to see in particular, Rage Not? There's some details if you hover over some of this stuff. How much water do they use? Right now, it's about a geyser full of water. We're actually using 2 geysers, but they don't use the output. Electrolyzers do use a lot of water, but we have 2 steam geysers that produce water, and it produces water forever, so it's infinite water. But the problem with it is it's very hot. It comes out at boiling. It comes out at steam, 212 Fahrenheit. And we have one down here too that we've built into a little pool. And these, oh, you haven't seen one? Oh yeah, they're kind of, it's very difficult to survive without a geyser. Because, yeah, you run out of water. But this water comes out at 212, and so you have to spend a lot of effort dealing with heat. So that's what a lot of this stuff is dealing with heat. Did you want to see anything in particular, Regina, or did you see what you wanted? You want to see the end of cycle report? I don't know how to get to that. I guess I don't use it. Unless this is it. I mean, I don't know what you want to see. Yeah, it's a cooling system. Yeah, I don't. Tell me what to click, RageNot, if there's something in particular, because I don't know how to get to it. But yeah, we have a bunch of Weezeworts which cool down this room, and then all the heat in the base comes into this room to get destroyed. So we cycle hydrogen to absorb through these gas pipes to absorb heat. Just click previous. Okay. I hope you can see that. It's kind of small even for me, actually. It's really small text. Well, when you wanna make sure that that heat doesn't get out, you want to use abyssalite. It's a complete insulator. Oxygen generation and consumption. Yeah, I think they're fine because it's you're just above your energy production. Yeah, well, things were going really well before this epidemic. I have to say. So yeah, so abyssalite is great for insulating if you don't want heat to transfer. So for example, all the pipes that come out of this geyser water are made of abyssalite. Otherwise, I don't think it really matters. I think granite is the best to use to dissipate heat, but it's really not a big difference. So I just build it whatever. Alright, I don't want to even go back to building. We're still getting slime lung cases. I don't know what happened, because, like, this report says that, oh, well, I guess they had germs then. Question is, where did Tribaldo go? All right, we still have a free med bed. So and we'll make some more vitamin chews. Joey, how are you? It says duration remaining 1.1 days. I feel like it keeps going. It's not going down as fast as it promises to go down. So what's going on? Oh, we're actually cooling this down already. Let's disable for now. We're not ready to do all that. Still, I want to get everybody back up to par before we really work on that again. It's probably digging into all this stuff and digging into up here. We hit some kind of a terrible pocket. So as long as they're getting medical care, we'll be fine. If everybody gets sick at once, I don't think that they can do medical care. That would be a problem. What if... Poor Gene. Yeah, that's no faster than a medical bed. And it takes power. I guess the only advantage is that it's 2x3, so you can fit more in a hospital instead of 3x2. But that seems a little sketchy. So yeah, going back to all this stuff, I think we're pretty much in the clear on everything. I'm concerned about the heat that's in this part of the base, and so that's what I'm trying to address with this build up above. But our heat in the farm is beautifully perfect. I couldn't be happier with this, how this turned out. And then I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but I built this new system for getting rid of polluted water. And it's doing great as well. So as the polluted water comes in, it fills them up, and the polluted water heats up the room, but then we cool it down with the pipes, so everything is nice and stable. So immunity's starting to go back up. Not everyone's at 0. Water absorbs if it's on top of the tile? Sadly, no. So that's what my hope was. But it turns out there's something kind of even weirder, which is, if you look at this, so all plants require some kind of atmosphere. Usually you'd think it would be carbon dioxide, but they can take all sorts of stuff. And this plant, the thimbleweed, for whatever reason, can have an atmosphere that is water. I can't point to it without messing up the thing, but it can either be polluted water, or oxygen, or polluted oxygen, or carbon dioxide. And so I thought to myself, well, if when it's a gas, they actually absorb the gas, and then you have to put more gas in, and that's expensive. I already deleted it, but we had a room up here where I actually had a deoxidizer just to fill up the room with gas. And so I said, well, how about we're trying to get rid of polluted water. Let's just fill it with polluted water. And it turns out all it takes is just a hair. I mean, this is a tiny amount of water on each tile. And that counts as atmosphere. This plant is immersed in polluted water, and that's the atmosphere. So, and it hasn't gone away. I've left it. If it's absorbing it, it's absorbing it very slowly. Now, it does take water through the pipes, but that's different water. So, what's amazing about this room is I don't have to put any gas in it, and they just eat my polluted water for me. I was thinking you could maybe get rid of carbon dioxide by putting carbon dioxide in here, but then you have to make sure you have the right amount of carbon dioxide versus polluted water, and that gets even trickier. So this is how we're doing it for now. Thimble reeds produce indescribably soft reed fiber for clothing production. My hope is that these just fall over the way that most plants do after a few days, and then they start growing again. If that's not the case, then I'll have to open up a door into this room, and they'll have to come and chop the plants down. But we'll see whether that happens or not. I still hear people sneezing. You got a sensor? Yeah. So the sensor looks and sees what temperature it is, and so if this room gets hotter than 90 degrees, then this gas gets cooled down by these thermoregulators. But as soon as it goes under 90 degrees, there's an escape here, and so it just cycles. So right now the gas is just cycling to keep the temperature even. I'm not pumping this gas. That's kind of the beauty of the hydrogen gas system, is you don't have to pump it. It just cycles on its own. So, yeah, watch. So watch what happens. Let's say we wanted to make this room colder than 90 degrees. Let's say we wanted to make it 80. You see how right now these pipes aren't full? These pipes aren't being used. So if we set this to 80, so now this a thing switches, and now it's going through these pipes, which is actually hitting these regulators. So it's actually pushing the temperature down below 80. And then once it hits 80, these switches stop and the gas starts cycling again. And so that makes sure that the temperature, just like in your house, when you've got the AC on and you say hit 70, it cools down until you get below 70, and then it cuts off. And then when it gets hotter than 70, it cuts back on. That's all this is doing. Alright. So immunity's starting to go back up. I'm going to make more of these anyway, because I'm worried about my dupes. And there's some more iron. How cold is the hydrogen in the vents? So if you mean these pipes, right now it's at the room temperature because it's just cycling. So it's at just under 90. Okay. Hey Doug, welcome to Oxygen Not Included. Yeah, this game's a little more complicated than RimWorld. But yeah, this hydrogen's at about 90 degrees. Because that's what the sensor's set for. But in these other ones, like, this is what cools the farm down over here. So it comes in at about 95, because that's how hot that part of the base is at the top. And it leaves at -20. So it comes back to these farms at -20. And if you look, it starts at, well, whatever. Here it's -20. And then by here, it's already -10, -5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. So these pipes are absorbing heat. And by the time you get all the way back around, it's at 95. Does that make sense? So it absorbs all the heat from your base that it can. And then it comes back in, and that heat gets pushed out into the atmosphere, and then these wee-squirts cool it down. That's how it works. It's taken a little twiddling to get it to work right, but it seems to be doing all right. It's kind of complicated though. I think thermally reactive means that at a certain temperature, it's going to change state or phase or something. So like, if you use, what is it? If you use sedimentary rock, I think it'll turn into something else. Like it'll turn into sandstone or something like that. Obsidian will turn into magma at a certain temperature. I think it's like that. That's what thermally reactive means. What you have to look at if you want to look at heat transfer are the other properties like, let's see, how do we So this is abyssalite, right? You know about abyssalite. So thermal conductivity is very low. 1 times 10 to the negative 5. If instead we look at granite, thermal conductivity is 3.4. So that's the number that you want to look at. So if you compare granite at 3.4 to sandstone, sandstone's 2.9. So granite conducts heat better than sandstone. Yeah, so let's try wolframite, right? So you got these numbers. Granite is 3.4. Sandstone is 2.9. So wolframite is 15. So, like, if I could, I'd want to build lots of stuff out of wolframite just to get the heat to transfer. But you can't build pipes out of wolframite. Gas pipes, sorry. You can build liquid pipes out of wolframite, but not gas pipes. I don't know why. But it's just that one number is what matters in terms of how much heat, how easy it is for heat to transfer. And with abyssalite it's small, with wolframite it's high, but everything else has its own number too. So Doug, have you played this game? Ooh, our power is actually not looking good. These batteries are empty. We need to deal with that. So part of that is that we're running the... Thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of it. Up until now, this worked really well, but it looks like we're hitting our power limit. So the metal refinery is taking a lot of power. Let's run this one more time, and I think we can cut some of this off. Like, let's just... block that. And I believe that this will cut off, stop using power once it's charged. So we'll do that. Let's see, what else can we... How else can we conserve power? So the algae distiller is running, but that's temporary, because we won't have slime forever. Those gas filters are killing us, though. We spend as much power on gas filters as gas pumps. It's kind of surprising that just with our bathrooms we have enough polluted water to run all 5 of these fertilizers and synthesizers. So what we can do is something like this. Let's say we only want 2 of these running. So we have to open up these doors. Okay. No problem. I was just asking you if you've played this game before. So, alright, so now only these two not waiting for sale to buy. Yeah, I picked it up on sale. It's still in early access, but, oh man, I've spent, let me see. I've spent a lot of time playing this game. No expansions. There aren't any expansions. I've spent 350 hours on this game, and it's still in early access. Alright, so we just have to remember how this works. So I think they choose to take bridges if they can. So we'll put a bridge like this, and then deconstruct, and then we'll bring this down to yeah, to here. And if we have this right, this'll be good. 129 hours on this game. You kill your dupes all the time. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. That's not what we want. So I want to make sure that it goes in that direction. I could have put a valve in, but valves don't go in the walls. So I think what's going to happen is, after this completely fills up with polluted water, this will start sending polluted water down here to be destroyed. And that way we can control exactly how many of these that we turn on. And we just turn them on, turn them off. And then the rest will be eliminated. Yeah, I think Cool Tool. I think for me the big trick is just staying small as long as possible. Like if you can have the patience to just stick with like 4 dupes, like all through the research, and get all your research done and start building stuff, you know, stick with 4. It's so much easier when you only have 4 or 5 dupes. Because they don't breathe a lot, they don't have a lot of waste, they don't eat a lot. 5 dupes, cycle 69. I bet it's gonna go well. I think a lot of these games, these kinds of games, when you expand too quickly, it gets a lot harder. All right, so they have nothing to do. So this is, Reginald, this is exactly why I don't build transportation tubes. They have nowhere to go. They have nothing to do. They're just, all of their needs are serviced by robots and pipes. Alright. Everything is back to looking pretty decent. We've got still not a whole lot of iron. I'm going to do 1 more of these. Hopefully that's enough. They don't farm. I mean, they do farm, but it just doesn't take a whole lot of work. Thanks, Cool Tool. Like, I mean, we can watch. There's maybe enough work for one person. All this food. Like, he's doing something, then he stands still for a second. And that's it. Oh. Why is your farm on the other side of the map? Oh, because it's in a cold area? That's probably it. Yeah. That's kind of, it's an advantage of doing it like this. I guess in that case it would make sense to send them via tube. Ice biome, yeah. Well, make your own ice biome with Wii Sports. And your hydrogen. All right. Should we give him a chance to recuperate? I feel like we should. They're making too much food. So I'm gonna turn off. Oh, I can turn these lamps off anyway. I'm gonna turn off one of these lamps. And see if that evens it out. All right, good. So this is doing what we were expecting. So we're gonna leave these two turned on, and the waste from the bathrooms is building up. Now this is really hot waste. This is 200-degree effluent, which is why we were trying to delete it here. So I don't know which is more efficient, to delete that heat here, or to send it to our polluted water deletion facility. But I'm going to try this and see if it goes haywire. The new machine, the big one you find in the world, how does that one work? Well, I was actually building something to use that. So let's see if we can. So here, I'm going to hopefully not get them sick again. But I'll show you what I was doing. I assume, Cool Tool, you're talking about this one, right? Anti-entropy thermonullifier. We've just kind of messed up a little bit here because we weren't paying attention because of the epidemic. So we've sort of filled up all the space with hype. Let's get this fixed. All right. I think I'm gonna turn that off for now. Okay. I didn't expect to be inundated with hospital patients. So what this building does is you put hydrogen in it, So it takes hydrogen as fuel, and then it cools down the environment. So it's different than the Weezeworts, which are actually completely free. There's no inputs. They just cool down whatever environment they're in. These dudes you have to feed with hydrogen. I'm not sure what the best way to get rid of this water is. So what we're going to do up here is we're going to do another cooling system. And we're going to try using this thing to cool down our hydrogen gas. So we've got our thermoregulators, which take gas from the pipe and put it in the put the heat in the environment. And then we're feeding this with hydrogen, and we're feeding the room with hydrogen as well, because hydrogen is a good conductor of heat. So all these things will have the same temperature. That's pretty much the idea behind that. So this will cool whatever's in this pipe. We're going to put hydrogen in the pipe, and we need to finish running. This should be abyssalite. Okay, we're going to finish running abyssalite back to the base. And this is what we were doing when we got sick. Because we're tearing into some of these slime pockets. And I think we're going to have to again. Maybe I'll do it a little slowly. Kind of watch how stuff goes. But yeah, it's going to be exactly the same idea as here. But instead of using Weezeworts, we're using the nullifier. Because we're out of Weezeworts and we need more cooling. I'm hoping to, once we get all this taken care of, I'm hoping to go up to 36 dupes. Maybe see if we can even get to 48. Or whatever. However high we can go. So, probably what I'll do is take these two panels and hook those up to upstairs. Maybe even we'll make it so that we can switch. I don't know. Now, there's a lot of small, kind of large problems. One is that if we take the hydrogen that's in here and keep it in this system, I think it's going to be too full, and it's going to get hung up. Could also, so this hydrogen line is only needed for feeding this and feeding that. And I kind of like having it like that because it's separation of concerns. But it is an extra pipe that we have to carry all the way up there. I think I'll do the clean thing instead of the easy thing. So this is an abyssalite pipe that will contain cold hydrogen. And all I need to do basically is put it here. So also the game gets choppy when you build pipes and you have this many pipes, so I apologize. Well, that's a more polluted water than I expected. Okay. So I think that's all taken care of. So, like I said, this pipe is going to contain cold hydrogen, and we're going to make it come in I kind of want to reverse the flow. This is going to be so cold. But no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Probably, maybe, probably, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? I'm gonna come over here. Come down. And we'll just make 2 manual valves. So, oh, you can't because there's just stuff in the way. All right. Well, we won't have valves, but we're just gonna put this in and we're gonna disconnect that. So, and so that's the idea. So cold hydrogen comes in, it's going to go through this so-and-so, up, all the way back up to here. Okay, now we need to do a couple things. We need to do it relatively quick. because I should have done this sooner, but now this is going to go this way. It's going to bypass, let's come up here, it's going to bypass all that, and it's going to return and deconstruct. Alright, so we want to make sure that this keeps cycling. You can't see my hands. This, I mean, you can't see what I'm pointing to. We blocked this off because it has nowhere to go. I should have built this before I deconstructed stuff, but we want to make sure that this can get across and come back to the cooler right as it's been doing. And that'll keep the farm cold. So this is just going to cool off the farm. And looks like that's good. So now, as this gets built, and we finish this connection, which I think I'm just gonna deconstruct all that. And now I have to return it, so probably I should wait till they construct it. So it gets so slow. Can they reach that? No. Okay. So now we have to, excuse me, we have to take this pipe and we have to go back up. And that's what I was talking about, reusing pipes, but I'm not going to reuse pipes. So I think I'm going to do the ugly, stupid thing, which is to have the pipe right next to its partner. And that's not good because you can't bridge over two of them. But I also don't want to, like, prepare all that space. So we'll deal with it later if we need to get across it. I'm just going to do kind of stupid stuff. And we're using Abyssite because we don't want to cool down or heat up any of this between base stuff. And the direction here is going to be going up. Okay. Make sure we're using Abyssite. Alright. So now we just need to connect this to that. And again, the direction is up, across. That's pretty much it. So in theory, this should be a complete circuit now. Of hydrogen. And it'll start at the... Well, it'll start wherever, it's a circle, but it'll go from those machines to the base and then back to the machines. Whew, alright. Last step is to make sure this gets powered up. And we'll use all that iron we've been making. We've got to run... we've got to run this cable. And yeah, I think go across. And we're out of iron. Man, it takes so much iron. That conductive cable is expensive. So let's make more of that. I think I'm going to deconstruct that pharma chamber because that kind of sucks, as far as I can tell. It didn't speed up Gene's recovery more than Joey's. Yeah, we're running out of power to do all of our buildings, so it may be time to build another natural gas generator, because I don't know if we can. We're actually out of natural gas, so it might be time to tap the other natural gas reservoir then. Where do I store slime, and are you doing something with it? I store slime in these storage compactors that are in this room, and I have a algae distiller to convert them to algae, but it looks like right now we're out of slime. It doesn't stick around for very long. Alright, they actually completed that really quickly, so the hydrogen is on its way up. We have to complete the power stuff before this will work, and you know, we're kind of out of power anyway, but so the easiest thing to do to deal with this power issue is actually just tap that second natural gas reservoir the same way we do this one and start sending its gas down. I really wanted to finish this, but if we don't have the power to run this, then it's kind of irrelevant. But I hate having two things up in the air at the same time. So that's going to be another gas pipe. So now I really, that's kind of crazy, but doesn't this gold look like copper? So this is pretty straightforward. We're just gonna build something like this. Telvina says it looks like dirt. That's no, it's too pretty for dirt. You don't know what dirt looks like. Nice job, Gene. Nice job. Really great effort. A plus for Gene. Looks like dirt with stones embedded. I'll tell you one thing, you are not a geologist. First of all, they're minerals. There you go. All right. All right, pretty simple stuff. The problem is just that we have to run so much pipe, and you know, laying pipe is pretty fun sometimes, but not always. Sometimes it's a chore. So, build out of gold because this is ridiculously hot. We're going to use abyssalite pipes again, and we have to go all the way back down, probably knocking through a lot of this crap just to fit the pipes. Unless we go a different way, we could come across. Lay the pipe, sir. Kappa. We could come across. So let's. It's kind of silly, but I also feel like it's worth it. So let's come across. So we do this. We'll do this just because we don't care. Honey badger. What is it? Honey badger don't give a shit. Oh, we don't have a way across. Well, let's honey badger don't give a shit. We'll just make a way. How? Let's see. We want to go here eventually, so that's actually not bad. We'll just come. We'll just knock a hole. Do you start a new colony every update? Yeah, pretty much. I skipped. No, yeah, every update, yeah. Sometimes 2 colonies, but only when I don't have anything else to play. Alright, so we're going to go all the way across. This is a little adventure here. We're going to go all the way down. And we're just gonna feed it into this thingy-majig. We want to make sure that that there's only natural gas in here, and what we did before was We have a filter. I don't know. It drives me crazy where they idle. They'll idle like in the middle of a hydrogen-filled room, and then it's like, what did you expect when you couldn't breathe? They're dumb as rocks, or dumb as minerals, as Delvina might say. So probably what I'll do is, for the time being, we'll go ahead and stick... How do we want to do this? We'll stick another valve here. Then we'll say boop, and that can either go down as in boop. Right, as such. Or it can go across as such. Yeah, I wish they were smarter, but I guess part of the fun... I don't know, I feel like they could be a little bit smarter and it would still be fun. I'm pretty sure. Alright, so what this will let us do, as the game really freaks out, is we can turn this off. And this is kind of like our escape valve once we know the system only has... Oh god, who's suffocating? You're not suffocating, you're walking under your own volition. Look at this. Look at Ari. Now that needs to be fixed. That is inappropriate. She's just freaking out. It's at he's sorry, Ari. It's like there's some kind of pathing bug, and they think that they can go either up or down. And then when they take a step, they say, "Oh, maybe I should have gone down." And then they take a step, and they say, "Maybe I should have gone right." It's like severe existential angst. So anyway, we toggle these valves to make the gas go through the filter. So let's finish this pipe. So it comes across, does a little boop action. You and it, yeah. Alright, so they're going to work on these pipes. Now, they don't know how to get... We haven't done this part, so let's help them out. Let's build a little tunnel. And, you know, build a something. We'll build some ladders. They like ladders. And this... That's pretty much like that, and then maybe some floors like that. And of course you can't build over plants. I don't know why, but... Alright. So that's pretty much it. They're almost definitely going to die of suffocation at some point. I guess we should, how do you want to handle this? Maybe like a... whatever, I don't even know. That's, pretty much it. Now that was Catalina. Hope you better be able to climb. Okay. I was gonna say, I just saw you jump in that pit. So this is gonna take a while to dig out. And I feel like we kind of have to watch them while we do it, while they do it. We can add some stuff over here. So we'll want to do... I like to always have thermosensors next to my dealer bops, because you never know what might go wrong, and this kind of limits what can go wrong. It'll never overheat if you do these things. So I don't like overheating. You waste metal. Because you have to repair it. Alright, but we do need to make more iron. It's like... This is where all of our power is going, I think. Okay, is anybody dead yet? So we'll probably set this to be something like 70, activate if below 70. So this way it shouldn't overheat. Have I ever paid the iron price? I feel like the iron price is debt. So no. Not yet. Have you ever paid the iron price? Alright, everybody's immune system up to 100. This is what I like to see. 0 stress, 100% immunity. If only we had power, we'd be like right as rain. Oh, okay. I want to see if we take power even though we're not using these. So reports, cycle thing, whatever. Doesn't look like it. Most of our power is going into cooling the base down. Oh no. All of it? Every single person? That's bad. Because who heals the sick when everyone's sick? Delvina, have you ever paid the iron price? You know, there's a little town and a mountain village in Switzerland, and in that it's like a tiny little, just a couple hundred people. And there's one barber in the village, and he shaves all the men in the village who don't shave themselves. So this one barber in this village shaves all the men in the village who don't shave themselves. You know, that's what barbers do. The question is, does he shave himself? Yeah, I thought the iron price was death too. I don't know. I mean, maybe it just means like the price of fighting for what you, whatever, want. But I thought it was death. Because it always is like he paid the iron price in the past tense. Yeah, Game of Thrones. I mean, you're just as lost as I am. Oh, you know what else we could do? We could actually add a coal generator and hook it up the same way we hooked up the bicycles, so that it only runs when we really need power. But I mean, everything's fine. Where would we put it? Oh, also, I do not want to sweep that. Yeah, I guess we could put it down here. It'd be better to put it here, but it's probably too hot. I take it no one cares about my barber question. This makes me really sad, but I understand. How big is... Expecting an answer? Yeah, it wasn't rhetorical. Barber's bald. So then, so you're saying he doesn't shave himself? Is that what you're saying, Delvina? Because if he doesn't shave himself, he shaves himself. That's the point. That's the point of the whole thing. He shaves only those who don't shave themselves. Oh, hello. There's a lot of junky water there. It said meat. How did... Okay, there's a bunch of water here. I think some of this stuff is like falling and melting. This is the most annoying part about the game, honestly, is all this water and ice. I mean, ice and snow and polluted ice that melts. And then if you don't sweep it up, then they get hypothermia and cold feet. They don't get married. I want to see... Okay, how big... So I could actually fit the coal generator right in there. Let's build it. Do you memorize what all the function keys show? A lot of them, yeah. Yeah, the only ones that I don't remember are like room, and actually these three over here you can't even hit on the keyboard because they just wrapped around. So it goes F11 and then F1, F2, F3. It's like they're not even trying. But I know I mean, like, you know, temperature and gas and the important ones. I don't really hit. I never look at light overlay. I never look at thermal comfort, which I think just basically means if you're in this area, you'll be getting colder. If you're in this area, you'll be getting hotter. Something like that. I don't even know. I just don't use it. So I realized that I don't actually want to put the generator there because it would not be close for the... All right. To hook into the power, I want to use the heavy watt wire. So maybe put it here, just for like temporary. Oh, but then it's gonna put CO2 in the... I don't want that either. Since it is a temporary thing, I guess I don't mind putting it like maybe right here. That's kind of cute. So this way, the CO2 will fall down here, and we don't care so much about it, maybe-ish. But I was gonna hook it up so that it was nice. Oh, I can still do that. Maybe. We'll use this one. And then we'll say it comes on like that. It's not bad. I'm happy with that. Simple, effective, maybe. I'm big on simple and effective. I feel like all the best people can be described as being simple and effective. Oh, because it's coming from... Yeah, seriously, how did water get up here? So I want them to fill up this thing at all times, I think. And then it'll only actually turn on when the power in the battery goes to 0. That's the hope of this little setup here. Somehow we have a bunch of power. I don't know what's going on. He's doing that thing again. The pathing is all messed up. Oh shit! So we have this pipe built. That only took like 3 days. So we're almost done with this build. So we gotta power it up, and I'm just gonna use the same. In fact, I'm gonna save power just by. Okay, we need more iron. And we can reach all of this. And gotta do... Can I write over this? Is that going to replace that? Nice. So I think we'll do one here, and this one is going to be wire. Why do I still use wire? Because it's cheaper, and there's a finite amount of iron or metal. When I say cheaper, I mean it uses less metal. So one unit of wire is 25 metal. and that gives you 1,000 watts. But 1 unit of conductive wire is 25 smelted metal, right? Which I'm not even sure. Actually, so it uses 100 kilograms to make 100 kilograms, which doesn't make any sense. So I think Rage-Knot, I think you have a point. You can get more watts through the same amount of metal if you use conductive wire. The only downside is a temporary, you know, it takes power and it takes water to make, but once you've made it, it's made. So you've kind of convinced me. I'm glad I looked at the numbers. Probably not going to change anything in this base, but for the next base, I might. Probably will. Why is that unreachable? Oh. All dudes sick and no food. Oh no. Can they care for each other when they're sick? I feel like they can't. Like, maybe you should just accept a new dude so that they can be the doctor. Is that a bad idea? And then eat the weak. I don't understand why they're not getting coal. Oh, because it's disabled by the... Oh, that's a shame that it works that way. So because the building's disabled by the automation grid, your base is green in germs. Some people have had luck by starting a second base, like away from the first base. Alright, let's see what's going on over here. What is missing? Some bridges. So I kind of think that's it. So now we have power coming up. All this is connected. This is going to be, we're going to re-enable that. It's nice and chilly in here. this is going to start cooling down this hydrogen. Oh, actually, we need to finish this. There's too many things we had doing. So we'll do an Atmos sensor, but we're not going to put it there. We're going to do an Atmos sensor there, and we're going to put so that's pumping now. It's pumping hydrogen, because that's all that's in this little area. Really want to get that built, so let's do that, please. So one of the nice things about these sensors is that you can use them to turn on and off buildings without Duke's having to go touch anything. So we want to turn off, so this should activate if above, let's say, 1,000 grams of pressure. So it's off. Alright, and we want to get rid of all this junk. Need to find a Weaswort we can use in here. Kind of out of them, but I'm going to use this one. These things are going to get cooler soon, I'm hoping. So we'll get this taken care of, and then we'll, well, oh, this is actually just going now. Cool. Let's leave it. Hope it's fine. Okay. So last thing, let's get this swept out. How did you get your base covered in germs with polluted oxygen? And then they just grew? I would guess. So this isn't working as well as I'd hoped. I mean, it looks like it's all set up right. But see how there's big gaps in here? That's where these machines are cutting off because they're getting too hot. hopefully, when we fill this up, when we really fill this up with hydrogen, it should be better. So it looks like they're idle because they filled up all of these storage compactors. So we're going to build some more. What happened to our water output valve? So this thing, but for water, did we trying to do something cute over here? We must have been trying to do something cute. You know. Okay, I think this is cleaned up, so this is going to be locked. And I think I'll set that to 1200. So once we let this run for a while, and we're pretty confident that only natural gas is left in it, I can bypass the filter, which we put down here. But not until then. Okay, now this is up to pretty high, actually, 1400 pressure. But yeah, this one is staying far too hot. I set it to 1200. This one or the other one? I'm not sure actually if they're both the same. I put 1,000 here, and this room's set to 1200. This stuff, because that makes natural gas too. could try doing it with wolframite backplates. Hey Joey, your Duke is still alive. Although he's been through a lot. He got slime lung, and I think at some point he almost suffocated, but everything's fine. I took care of him. Welcome back, by the way. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Put so much pressure in your natural gas it started to liquefy into naphtha. Yeah, you definitely have to suck it out. I don't know what it is, but these things seem to overpressure. Doug, you want one named after you? Do you have a preference? Some of these are people, but this fellow's got sideburns. He's pretty cool. Liam is a traitor, and unless you want to be the bad guy, you should not be Liam. He killed our first Bonnie. Fairly derpy. I mean, I feel like Otto looks pretty derpy to me. Liam, okay, you want to be the bad guy. All right, all right. I mean, I'm not going to stop you, but so I made a clip of it on Twitch. So Bonnie passed out because it was so hot down here in the crude oil. She passed out and like fell into the oil and needed somebody to rescue her. And so I paused the game and I sent Liam over to get her. And Liam just went over and like picked up some granite and left. And Bonnie died. It was a tragic moment in our history. One of your worst deaths was somebody starved to death because you had a food shortage, but you managed to produce enough food to survive, but nobody would share. Oh no, that's terrible. That's really funny. That sounds like something that happens in Banished. Kind of going through and cleaning up a little stuff that happened because of the build. So this is going to have to be fixed somehow, but what's happening is that this is pausing because it's not cooling fast enough. Alright, let's do the easy thing. Let's try building some How do we want to do it? Maybe start with that. Start with something like that. I don't know. We probably should just come down. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Much better idea. Deconstruct. Doug, by the way, you survived in RimWorld. I'm not sure if you caught the VOD, or I don't even know. What do people say? The VOD, the VOD, the video. I don't know if you've seen the video, but you survived. Do I press P, then 9 often? I try not to mark stuff 9, but I think I do it. I think in my early bases I marked way too much stuff 9, and then I couldn't get them to do what I really needed them to do. So I try not to hit 9 unless it's like, please do this. Please, for the love of God, save Bonnie. I've actually taken to one of the, with these storage compactors, I set them at 2, so that they don't pick up until they have done everything else. Okay, so this got down to temperature, so this cut off. It's much clearer, it's much easier to see this because the pipes aren't so goofy. Great advice, yeah. You have to make sure you do it to all of them, though. I always use copy settings to make sure that they stay at 2. But, yeah, see how it's bypassing the cooling system? So that's what's saving our power, I think. Temp shift plates help disperse temperature. So actually it's working really well. So if you were watching when I was looking at this was glowing yellow. It was glowing maybe even a little orange sometimes, because the temperature couldn't equalize from how cold it was at the bottom to how hot it was at the top. And the temp shift plates speed up the transfer of heat. So now this is looking perfect, really. This is what I want to see. Is it moving continuously? It's pausing only because there's not enough hydrogen in the system, but whenever there's hydrogen, it's going. So bingo, bango. So now the trick is to fill this sucker with hydrogen, and I want to see this orange turn to yellow. So let's see if we can't get that to happen. Oh yeah. I want to do one small tiny thing. I want this to be water. Cool. They're like heat sinks. Yeah. It's like I can't think of really an analogy, but it just helps heat spread to what it's touching. So yeah, in that sense, it's like a heat sink. I totally forgot what I was doing. I usually make them out of wolframite, but I think making them out of diamonds is good. I'm pretty sure it is. Based on the numbers, it seems to be good. But I usually use wolframite because I know that that works. I mean, we could actually. So I have some built out of diamonds down here, and I think they work just as well. So that's wolframite. That's wolframite. Wolframite. Okay, I'm pretty sure some of these are diamonds. I heard another stream said diamonds were better. Let's look at the numbers. Alright, I'll just make one. Doot. Lucy? Lucy, what you done, babe? You're fine, aren't you? She can walk out of that. Yeah, I don't think you can make anything else out of diamonds. It'd be cool if you could, but... Alright, so utilities. So we'll just make two of them and we'll compare. So, wolframite, boom. Diamonds, boom. And put a little smiley face below. God, they take forever to make. Alright, so this seems to work. They put coal in it at some point, and the batteries are so full that it cut off, even though these are still working. So basically, we'll only use this coal generator when things get terrible. I'm loving this automation stuff. I hope they keep adding, although I'm not even sure what I'd want. Like, they've added so much stuff. Alright, so diamond. Ooh, diamond has thermal conductivity of 80. So if I remember from before, wolframite's was lower. Wolframite's is 15. So it's way better to use diamond. Like, way. Do I automate my apartment? Sadly, no. I'm actually not really big on gadgets. I've just never really been like a gadget kind of person. I have friends who have fancy thermostats they can control with their phone, and I don't get the point. If it's hot, I'll open a window. If it's cold, I'll put on a sweater. I mean, I don't know. Sweatshirt. Night cool tool. Enjoy yourself. Alright, so the next trick is to put some more gas in this system to see how nice sound system. I used to have I used to have a bigger apartment and speakers in like different rooms. I like that, so that I could listen to the same song in different rooms. But my apartment is now a single room, so it's not such a concern. This is why I don't want them idling in the cold biomes. So, I think the easiest thing to do here is we'll add not a liquid valve. We'll add a gas valve. You go boop, and this is the return, right? Oh, okay, it's not. I'm glad I looked. So this way we can put some more hydrogen into the cooling system that cools the living space. I'd love to flip these around, but whatever. Oh, they sleep so much. At least that's how it feels when you have it on speed 3. Ah, nice. So coal kicked in because we ran out of power. That's nice. That's very nice. But I don't like the fact that we're running out of power, so let's throw in some more smart batteries. Just to absorb more power, to hold more power. Cool. Alright, so that's going again. We had a lot of water sitting on the floor that wasn't getting picked up. It's not as big of a deal as polluted water. Why is he picking up sleet wheat grain? Where would we be putting sleet wheat grain? So I thought that sleet wheat grain rotted, and it does rot. Oh. So I don't want to pick up sleet wheat because all this time we've been wasting sleet wheat. Yeah, I had done seeds, and I didn't realize. So like mealwood seeds, you know, don't rot. I don't think so. I don't think mealwood seeds rot. So Sleet Wheat says it's edible but will expire. Change per cycle, unrefrigerated, -6%. Okay. So what we can do is we can say, hey, how about mealwood seeds? So no text about them going bad. So mealwood's good. Pinch of pepper. Pinch of pepper doesn't go bad. Okay. I don't even care about balm lovely seeds, so any of this other stuff? We don't care about this other stuff. So I think the only thing that goes bad is sleet wheat, grain, for whatever reason. I mean, I guess because it's cold, it's supposed to be cold. Stop idling in here. Hydroponic sleet wheat farm. That's pretty cool. I'll have to grow sleet wheat at some point if they get too picky about their food. To make sure we can make good stuff. Alright, so basically now we're adding some hydrogen. That means that in terms of degrees per second, it's going to become a more effective cooler. We've got like half, you know, another 50% of space in here. I don't really see this looking any colder than it did. This comes in at 21 degrees, and by the time it's up here it's 74, so it's cooling down this part, but it's not really cooling down this part by much. I mean, it's 80, it's a 20-degree difference. But I think we'd have to add more doohickeys and then spread out this fan in a better way, like do smaller pieces, so like that and then this and then that and then this, or something like that, or even split them. What if we split the hydrogen so that half goes into each side and joins back? That would be nice. I feel like we can raise this temperature. We don't need it to be quite so cold. Like 70. Oops. I put it to 1200. That's not what I want. Are you making muffins, or are you making the fancy stuff? No, I haven't even looked at them. I heard that it takes metal. I heard that it takes metal, and I don't want to use metal. Like it spins metal. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to spend metal to make it more efficient. I'd never do that. Because that's just going to... You don't have peppercorn farm for the bread. I really like the idea of making complicated food, but it's just not very worth it. But yeah, you only have a certain amount of metal. Yeah, but there's a fixed amount, and it's not a lot. I mean, like, we've mined out almost every single piece of wolframite. We haven't mined out all the iron, but we've mined out a lot of it. Now there's a lot of gold that's left that we haven't touched, but I'm not really a big fan of using stuff that's temporary. I'd rather find ways to work with what is sustainable. Joey says, with the current base, I found the natural gas generator, crude oil, and ancient thermal, but no steam geysers. You know, if you try converting polluted water found to a stubble, you think you should try a new seed. I mean, I guess that's up to you. I think you're guaranteed steam geysers somewhere. On one of my bases, I had to go all the way to the top, and it was like right here. I think it's up to you. If you care about what you've made, then you should keep looking. But otherwise, start over and start over smarter. You know, use stuff that you've learned. But I think you're supposed to be guaranteed one, and if you can't find it, then there's either a bug or you haven't looked everywhere. One thing that helps to find them, yeah, they're really cool. One thing that helps is to hit temperature overlay, and then look for, like, so blue, for example, you know is cold. But sometimes you can find the water by looking for red. It doesn't always work, but it can help. If you get one next to your base, it heats up your base. It's true. You should try to encapsulate it. Cover it with abyssalite if you can. So this is blocked up. So it looks like we're going to have to let people in here to harvest these things. Which, it kind of sucks. Killing hatches is a bad idea. So I mean, yeah, killing hatches is... I kill hatches. The only reason you want to keep hatches is if you want coal. You can use hatches as an endless supply of coal. But coal's not that great of a power source because it pollutes a lot. No. I don't want you. Crap. I didn't want them walking in the water. This is kind of interesting. So we had so much cold polluted water that it chilled this thing down, and I don't have an automated way to heat it up. So I have to throw in... So I may be able to block this off again. That's the first thing. You polluted your map so bad with carbon dioxide, or what? Um, we'll put in a doohickey. Polluted water? Polluted water. Pollution, yeah, pollution spreads. It's kind of sucks. And then the polluted water makes polluted air, and it gets everywhere. I've had a base where everything turned into polluted. But that was before they added germs. Yeah, I'm doing that in this one. It works really well. Okay. Oops. All right, we're gonna get this eventually. All right, so that goes like that. Cancel that. It needs power. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks that I have to heat it up. So this is not the best thing I could do. I could instead send, this would be really complicated, but I could take this cold hydrogen and send it somewhere to be warmed up usefully. But I'm going to do this as a stopgap just to get this thing working again. But I would love to have this be more useful. How many patches ago? I don't know. It was before they started doing updates every so-and-so. I don't know. I can look it up. Let me figure out how I'm going to power this for now, though. Oh, how cool would it be to have this hydrogen go up here and cool down the base, and then come back when it was the right temperature? Let me see if Steam will tell me when I bought it. I think there's a way. I think it was like back in last June or so, because it was before the outbreak patch. So my guess is June 2017. Alright, so I'm going to cover this back with abyssalite. So we don't really know yet whether these will fall down eventually. Oh, Jesus Christ, Catalina, seriously? They update it regularly now, like on a schedule. When I started playing... These dupes driving me crazy. Catalina really wants to be in there, and I don't understand why. It's full of polluted water, and like, that's it. Yeah, so when it came out, they didn't actually update it regularly, so I might have bought it earlier than that. Surely Steam... How will Steam... Surely Steam will tell me the date. Transaction history from Steam client. Click on account balance. Account, store transactions. Hold on, let me make sure that they get this right before I do that. There's no one in there, is it? Okay. Okay, I actually bought it in April of 2017. So actually even longer than I thought. April of 2017. They didn't update it for a while. And then they started doing regular updates. Joey, you bought this when it first came out? But yeah, now that they do really regular updates, I think it's every 6 weeks they have sort of a version that they come out with. And it's been super cool. I mean, they've made a lot of changes, I think. Not sure if they're going to patch them all and make them all work together. But it's decent. Don't Starve is one of these games where I like to play it once a year. I find it really frustrating. Because you can die really quickly, and the early game is kind of boring. And then you have to do it again, and I don't like that. Whereas this game, I feel like the early game is really exciting. Yeah, you can die like that. We actually have a fair good bit of diamond now, so that's cool. Surviving the winter is tough. I think that there's so many things that combine to make the game frustrating. Like, I feel like combat is super janky, and you have to be good at combat, or at least it feels like you do, because you get attacked with stuff. And like, there's just, I feel like there's things that aren't super well thought out. Like, there's a space button. If you press space, it'll do whatever is near you that needs to be doing. So like, if there's stuff on the ground, you can press space and it'll pick up stuff. If there's like grass on the ground, you press space, you'll gather grass. But you can't press space to attack what's near you. So you have to click on this moving target. And you can't just click and hold down, or sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't. It just feels really janky. That's my Don't Starve combat rant. I'm, I just press F to auto attack. Oh my god, I wish I knew that like 5 years ago. No. Why isn't it space? It's space for everything else. And it's so you don't attack stuff you don't mean to, but oh my god. Wow. That changes everything. Thank you, Joey. Is it just me or is our food going down? Weren't we at 200,000? What are we spending food on? The multiplayer version? Yeah, I played Don't Starve together with a friend who may still be here, Delvina. Not sure. So this needs some tending to. I think it needs maybe more sensors. It's too big. And this got cold. And then that passed up to the thing. I'm not... something weird happened. And this needs to be... I mean, we could use plates to spread the heat out. I'm not sure. That's a lot of diamonds. That is a lot of diamonds. Alright, well, we'll have to think about that, and it'll have to be another time, because I'm going to go eat dinner. Joey says, fun fact about the games is legit strategy. People only choose... Oh, yeah. So they choose vomit dupes because there wasn't infinite water. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, without infinite water, just torture your dupes until they vomit. Makes sense to me. It's a lot like RimWorld. All right, thanks everybody. Have a nice night, and I will see you another time.